Have you ever stayed up late, talking to a friend, not realizing that time has melted away and it's now 3 a.m.? Well, that's how Pumpkin Party's development started, with me sending for real, no cap, and talking about my love for Halloween. A 3-hour Discord call with a bunch of messy ideas into Notepad and a beautiful paint drawing. I mean, it was inevitable that Pumpkin Party would be made into an actual game, and that you would be watching this devlog. So what is Pumpkin Party? The core vibe or theme of Pumpkin Party is spooky Halloween fun with friends. I wanted to make something that's more Scooby-Doo fun with friends, as opposed to like watching a gory horror movie like Saw with friends. In terms of the gameplay, Mario Party came to mind as a cool format to play many small games with friends. So making a Halloween game where you play many games with friends with a spooky Halloween vibe, and leaning into the spooky element more, we decided it would be better to be first person as opposed to the top-down view Mario Party uses. An additional idea to spice up the formula and differentiate it is have a simple twist that in between playing the mini games, an event can randomly happen requiring everyone to work together, and if you fail the event, everyone loses, ending the game. To keep the scope more realistic for us as a two-person team, we also decided to scrap the board game part of Mario Party and just focus in on mini games, as we find the mini games are the more fun part of things like Mario Party and Pummel Party anyways. So this is the basic idea that got me and my friend Bjorn, the artist, excited that one night, and yeah, the next part is easy, right? Just make a party game that can somehow compete with Nintendo. Game dev is easy, right? I created the base of the game by following along CodeMonkey's 10-hour-ish single-player kitchen tutorial, and the 6-hour-ish follow-up for converting that to multiplayer, using Unity's networking for game objects. I deviated from his instructions as I followed along, making my own custom first-person controller instead of using the top-down perspective that he teaches, and basing things more in physics so that you can throw around and drop objects, which will be useful for future minigames that I make. I decided to do this as I had already used parts of the tutorial to learn networking for game objects and make Cozy Courier, a co-op horror game I made for Ludum Dare 53 in 2 weeks. I had also referred back to this video, these tutorials, when converting Alien Life Simulator to multiplayer, which that update is not out yet, but in future I will also release some devlogs on Alien Life Simulator and updates for it. So I wanted an excuse to watch the tutorials in full, and it gave me a good base to work on the game from. I'm also now using a version of the kitchen game for the event that I mentioned earlier that can randomly happen while playing minigames, which forces you and other players to work together and finish all the recipes before the time runs out or you all lose. Footage of that kitchen game and event is what's been playing while I've been describing the first steps I took to make Pumpkin Party. When I was working through the tutorial, Unity tried to push the Unity Runtime Fee, which had me feeling uncertain if I wanted to continue to use Unity at all. Luckily, they drastically improved the policy due to developer backlash. So overall, I was feeling good about the game I had so far. It was September, but I was already getting into the spirit of Halloween by watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time.
Cordelia!
Wait, what's going on?
Okay, your name is Cordelia, you're not a cat, you're in high school, and we're your friends. Well, sort of.
That's nice, Willow. And you went mental when?
Great Halloweenish show. And now I just need to make minigames to put the party into Pumpkin Party, starting with Trick or Treating. When I think of Halloween, trick or treating is one of the first things that comes to mind. I have fond memories of trick or treating as a kid, and so the first minigame I decided to make was one based on trick or treating. For this minigame, I wanted to have a row of houses on a street that you go to one by one and can't revisit once you've been to, and have to either throw an egg or pick up the treat. So trick, throw an egg, or treat, get the treat. And if you get the treat, you have to bring it to a cauldron to get a point, or you have to bring an egg to throw, and you get a point if you throw an egg. And you're throwing eggs at normal people, and you're getting treats from monster-looking people. After setting up systems to keep track of the points in the rounds and switch between minigames, the actual first minigame was relatively easy to do, and I just kind of set it up with placeholder art, and that's what you're seeing in the background. Another traditional Halloween activity that I think a lot of people could probably relate to is going to a pumpkin patch. So the next minigame that I wanted to make would be at a pumpkin patch. And more specifically, I really like the idea of Fall Guys. I've played a bit of Fall Guys. So I kind of based this minigame off of Fall Guys. You have to navigate through obstacles to get your pumpkin, and then you bring back the pumpkin to get a point. And it's that simple. Just beat the other players and get more pumpkins. And this minigame was, again, pretty easy, even easier than the last, because I had all the systems I made for Trick or Treat to build on here. And I reused the cauldron, for example, for turning in the pumpkins, though later, with actual art, we'll probably not make it an actual cauldron, maybe like a cart of pumpkins that you throw your pumpkin into or something. In making the Pumpkin Patch game, I had inadvertently created everything I needed to make another minigame. In Mario Party, there's a game called Burn Style. I'll show it on screen now. And I already had a spinning object that pushed players off. So, bam, next minigame. I'll worry about the Halloweenish of it later. I mentioned earlier that I'm watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time to get into the spirit of Halloween. And I've also been rewatching Sabrina the Teenage Witch from Netflix, the Netflix version. During that rewatch, there was an epic scene that I'll be showing now where Sabrina goes through this hay maze. And so that's the next minigame that I'm made and that I'll show now, where basically the objective is just to get out of the maze. And the main reason for this minigame is just to lean into the benefits of the first-person perspective and make a kind of spookier minigame. And that's really it. Right now it won't look like much, but when all the art's in, it should look cool and it should be more fun. And I'll probably even add like a little jump scare or something as well into the maze. The last of the 5 minigames I made is called Warlocks. I love all things magic, and around Halloween, I think Harry Potter is a great series of movies to watch, so this minigame is inspired by the idea of casting magic each other and just being a wizard. The gameplay is inspired by Landfall Archive's Medieval Knight prototype and Nintendo's Super Smash Bros., with the simple objective of knocking each other out of the level with your projectiles shot out of your wand, and with every shot, your damage percent goes up and you're easier to knock out. So, that's development so far of Pumpkin Party. Next week, I'll be showing off some art from the artist and integrating the art into the game, as well as releasing a demo for the game. So the devlog will focus on all of that. If you want to see more devlogs from me on Pumpkin Party and other games that I'm developing, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell. If you want to prove that you've watched this whole video, which I'm very grateful for, then write spooky, scary, skeleton in the comment section down below.